Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the session today. And it is a great day today, being the first of the month. Depending on where you are, I can say good afternoon or I can say good evening, depending on where you are listening to me from. Okay, I'm trying as much as possible to bring in my guests. I'm just going to do that as long as I see her popping in the green room. And give me a moment, trying to go live on the other platform that I'm live today. Okay, I know it is a great day, and I'll be here with Dr. Adi, so I'm bringing her right away. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Adi. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you very much. And good afternoon. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, I'm doing great, and thank you so much for joining this session. It is a great privilege to have you, Dr. Adi. I know that you are very busy and you still have, and thank you so much for us to be able to be here today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I believe that we'll be learning something fantastic. So I know I had a conversation with you one on one, and I have also followed your work. It's a great work you're doing. Thank you so much for adding to and impacting others. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll give a short biography or profile of Dr. Hadi. So if I'm going to read this, maybe we will not leave here. But I want us to be out of here between 30 to 55 minutes. Can you hear me? I think I'm hearing myself. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm just checking. Okay, Dr. Hadi, our real name is Adeola Olubamiji. We usually call her Dr. Hadi for short, and I think she preferred that. So she's a founder. She founded STEM Up Foundation, a Canadian and charitable organization that has significantly impacted the lives of over 15,000 minority professionals and youth. And the foundation offers free hands-on STEM program. Thank you for that. Skill development training, mentorship, coaching, promoting greater inclusivity in science and technology field. And Dr. Harris stands as a forefront of digital transformation and additive manufacturing, influencing this field significantly across North America, Africa, Europe. In 2017, she distinguished herself as the first Black individual to earn a PhD in biomedical engineering from the University of Saskatchewan, Canada, underscoring her pioneering status in the academic community. I would say that Dr. Adi has accomplished a lot of things, and one of these is she's a TEDx speaker. She has authored several scientific publications that contribute to the body of knowledge in her field. Her professional excellence has been recognized through numerous awards, including being named 2022 Women of the Year by BMZ Canada, one of the Canada's top 100 most powerful women in 2020, and recipient of 2020 STEP Award from American Manufacturing Institute. I'll keep it short so that we can quickly dive into what Dr. Adi is going to be dropping for us today. I know she's ready. And before I start, Dr. Adi, I'll say this in one word or in one sentence. If you are not doing what you do currently, what will you be doing?
So, I think I would just always be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Okay. I love being an entrepreneur. So I think if I'm asked that if they're not going to pay you, would you still like to be an entrepreneur? Yes. Yeah.
That's very deep, Dr. Adi. I know that one thing that I can say to that is over the years, I know people can easily reach out to me and say, Ayala, do you have this? Can you do this? Most of the time, it is not about money. And I think I've mentioned this to you. Sometimes it's not about money, it's about the impact. And I can see that you are very passionate in what you do. So I'll quickly move. I don't want to give an overview. I don't want to give a definition of what we're talking about. But however, our topic this day, I don't want to say this afternoon or this evening, is people, purpose, people, and pathways. So I know there are three different levels, there are three different phases, and is redefining career and business success. And I know I did deliberately ask that question because you said you love to be an entrepreneur, and as an entrepreneur, you do a lot of things. So I'll kickstart this by saying that I know that people sometimes will say that, oh, I'm passionate about this. However, I've also discovered that passion does not pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
So passion does not pay bills. You just be very passionate, but you need to be able to also discover that purpose. And when you have that purpose that you think that you are meant for in life, I also discovered it's not only for you. You need people, and you need to also impact people or influence people positively. And then there are pathways to be able to redefine that success, either in your career, in life, relationships, or in your business. And that will take me to the first question. Um, when we hear the word success, Dr. Adi, what does it mean personally to you?
Before we go to the first question, I wanted to ask: do we want to stream to Instagram or is it streaming there?
Um, okay, because like yes, I'm doing that already. I'm not sure you see that on your page, but I think it's on my page. I can drop it when we're done, if that's okay,
Okay.
so that we don't go back and forth.
All right, no problem. Okay, so what does success mean to me personally today? I would say success to me means three things. The first one is freedom, and the second one is alignment, and then the third one is impact. Freedom means that I can live life on my own terms, that I can build work that feels like purpose and pour into others as I try things and they work out for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in my journey, success meant escaping survival. Growing up in Nigeria, in Mokola, my parents didn't have much, and success was if I can escape this survival, then that is success. But now it's about creating significance. It's about creating impact, pretty much, and I want to do it being free, not having, especially when with the world we live in right now, there's a lot of layoffs happening, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people who have full-time jobs, they're sleeping every night, not knowing whether they're going to have a job tomorrow. I
Yes,
There was
please.
a testimonial in my church on Sunday, and this lady said they said they're gonna fire people, and we're gonna have to expect if they don't call you before the end of the day, that means you still have a job. You don't want to live
Okay.
like that.
Wow.
That is not success to me. So being able to have that freedom to live on my own terms is absolutely important to me. So for me, success means right now freedom, alignment, and impact.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Adi, for that. And that's going to take me to my next question. And I know we have different types of generation in the workplace these days. And I don't want to start mentioning the generation. You understand what I'm saying? But what would you say that the redefining success, what do you think it means to this generation compared to the previous generation?
I mean, I feel like every generation is different, and I'm a millennial. So, do you want me to define it for you from a
It's okay.
millennial perspective or from a
It's
Gen
fine.
Z perspective?
From from both ways.
Okay, so for me, as a millennial, just looking at for millennials, life has not been fed to us like it was to baby boomers.
Mm-hmm.
For most millennials, my generation, what we're looking for when it comes to success is stability. Success
That's
to us
true.
is just being able to have a good job, a house, maybe a
Mm,
pension. And the people before us, success could be way more than that. Right. But for
mhm,
for for us as millennial, what we count as success is somebody just bought their first home. We're on social media, so happy for them. We're just dancing. Someone got a job. We are thanking God, and we felt like they have succeeded, or they have some money in their pension or their savings. Yeah. Now, when it comes to Gen Z, what is ahead of them is different. And what I'm seeing is that when it comes to success, as you to be successful, they are building brands around things that value authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
They are like me, they want their freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and they value their mental health. Because
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes success is connected to hard work, which oftentimes means you just pump the brake every day. You don't rest. But
That's right.
for them, it's Gen Z. Before you talk to three Gen Zs, you would see that they are self-aware. They're really considering their mental health. They're not just about, okay, I want to make money. They really care about authenticity. And that makes success definition differ for millennials and Gen Z. I'm a millennial, and I think I have a bit of attributes of a Gen Z in me, and it helps with people. So my style. Sometimes for an average millennial, it makes them uncomfortable
Yes, right.
because
Right.
authenticity is not something that jumps at us. And
Mm.
freedom is not something that a millennial is looking for. They're looking for stability. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adi. Like you are picking my next question. So I'm trying to connect this. So how do you advise people to balance ambition with authenticity, especially when the world measures success by status? So that ambition and authenticity, because you mentioned it, I'm trying to say, okay, how do we connect that? Because the reason why I asked this question is because these days you see a lot of things on social media, and people tend to see, oh, this is what they are doing. Can I just do it? So, and I'm going to go back to it because remember, what our focus today is purpose, people, and pathways. So that balance between ambition and authenticity, how do we balance it?
So I think for balancing between ambition and authenticity, it's it's a I would say it's a two-edged sword based on how we see it, especially as Africans in diaspora. Most Africans in diaspora believe that once I get a job, I need to lose myself completely to fit into the system. I need to
Hmm.
speak a certain way. I need to dress a certain way. I need to just appear a certain way
Certain
to be
way.
likable.
Hmm.
And I understand, especially as a career coach, that likability is a quotient that helps you succeed in a workplace. However, it doesn't mean that you lose yourself completely to become a brand new person just because you are pursuing an ambition and acceptance by a workplace or a system. Now, what I see that balance has been a lot tricky for especially new immigrants to really just kind of know that I can still be myself and still be acceptable. But I believe that over the years, especially for people like us who are now here for almost 20 years, I have been there in a situation
Hmm.
where I have to change myself completely just because I was thinking it will make them accept me. And then I have now also gotten to a point where I know that authenticity doesn't mean brashness. It doesn't mean I have to be
Hmm.
being crazy. Authenticity is just me being me, but also considering my environment as I make my decisions. So I'm fair in my judgment, but I'm not completely transforming into a new person. I think we can strike a balance if we truly want it and not just do what I call follow, follow.
Hmm.
Follow is I get to a place and then I look at everybody has changed their hair, they changed their tone, they changed this thing. Me too, I will just follow.
Sure.
Maybe that's what is
Mm-hmm.
working. Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ali. So I know this might be a tricky question, very tricky question, and sometimes I know when we share or we have conversation on this, we eventually share our story. Sometimes that makes people think we are vulnerable. We are not, and I also know that being vulnerable sometimes is being authentic. You are able to tell people, Um, I have been through this. At least I've listened to some of your live session where you share your story, what you did, how you did it. But most of the time, what we see sometimes on social media is people will just say, "Oh, I was able to do this without anybody's help." And I know there are some tough decisions that we make might not be a popular opinion. So that is going to make me to ask this question. So have you ever had to let go of something that looked successful on the other side or on outside, but didn't align with your values?
Yeah.
Okay, you
I
care to share for people to learn from that?
Yes, I it's not that it doesn't align with my value. I would say it doesn't align with my long-term goals. Right. And I have had to make a lot of decisions in my life. I'm someone who self-improve very, very often. So everything I'm doing, after a while, I usually sit and say, is this going in the direction it should go? If not, I change it. An example of such a situation was me leaving my high paying corporate job to build my own consulting company. It was one of those moments. I tell you, on
Yes.
paper, I had made it when I was in corporate. You read all my accolades, that 99% of them came from being in corporate. I won a lot of good awards. I contributed to innovation. A Fortune 500 company headhunted me from Canada, brought me to the US, created innovation for them. Another company. I'm always on panels and different wonderful,
Mm-hmm.
that, I was a thought leader in my field. However, after a time, I said I wanted to build something of my own. What happened at that time? All that standing ovation, all of that noise became silent. Letting go was scary, but necessary, because I wanted to live on purpose, not on autopilot, really.
Thank you for saying that. You
Yeah.
wanted to live on purpose.
Yeah, not on autopilot that, oh, I have to pay my bills every month, so this pays my bills. So as a result, so sometimes I tell people that sometimes it looks like corporate for me was a golden handcuff that was put on my finger so that I couldn't go and live my life of purpose. And at some point, I took that golden handcuff, I hung it, and said, "Yeah, I'm now going to live a life of purpose, and I'm going to power this such that I don't have to look back." Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you so much for Dr. Adi. This is very profound because I know one of the greatest decisions that an individual can make is trying to live, quote unquote, what you think is working without stress, and to venture into what you believe that will work because of the fact that you have vision, you are very strategic. Yes. So still is one of the greatest decisions anyone can make, to be able to say that, okay, I'm leaving, I've been at the top here. Now I'm going to start this, not because I want to have a thing of my own, but because I want to make more impact. Because you then, it's like sometimes there's what we call having a job and being fulfilled in that job. And that
Mhm.
comes with purpose. It comes with purpose. So my question on that purpose, redefining success, the next one will be, what is one belief about success you wish more people would unlearn?
That success has to be loud or look impressive to others, because it's not oftentimes true. Sometimes
Hmm.
the most powerful form of success is quiet.
Hmm.
And success could mean choosing peace over pressure. It
Hmm.
could be walking away from things that drain you, or giving yourself permission to rest without guilt.
Hmm.
I mean, we are always believing that success means I bought a G-Wagon. Success means I just had a baby. But
Hmm.
sometimes success is just I chose peace. So I'm going to choose this peace over this pressure. Because we live in a world that glorifies constant motion, a world
Hmm.
that real success happens when you can see something big. But sometimes
Hmm.
real success means stillness. In the
Hmm.
moments where you're healing, growing, aligning, right? Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't announce itself. I just wish that more people know that those things
Hmm.
to success, and it may not be as loud.
Hmm. Thank you so much for saying that because I've seen that the definition of success is different for an individual. So, but the bedrock or the hallmark of the definition of success is to identify and say that what success means to you is different from what it means to B, C, and D. And people need to accept that. The fact that, like you said, people are not driving a new car does not mean they are not successful. So people can choose peace. You can decide to say, I want peace in all ways. Mental health is better than sometimes than success. Depending on where you are standing, I will also use that perspective, 6 and 9. So what success means to A is totally different for what it means to B. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm going to move to the next subtopic, which is people and the power of relationship. And one thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to ask is how important are relationships in shaping long-term career success?
I know this is professional, but I'm going to sing in Yoruba.
It's okay.
Ènìyàn láṣọ mi, bí mo rénìyàn, inú mi á dùn, ara mi á yá gágá. That means that people are my clothing. When I see people, I'm happy, I am joyful. I grew up in a home where it was a face me, I face you. So I was raised by community. My mother was a farmer, so oftentimes she may not be at home. So our neighbor's mom, she raised us, gave us food, make sure we were able to go to school. When I got into university, anytime I come home and say, what's the living while I don't have money, people, our neighbor will rally around, the ones upstairs, and everybody just contribute. Take this Gary. Oh, Adiola, come take this 5,000. As I'm speaking to you, my dad's best friend just arrived in Canada, and this is a man that it was the MD for First Bank in Dubai, Ibadan. That time. If I'm coming home from school, I'll just branch once I come down from the bus, go to his office, wait me money. I was raised by people. And in my life, I've gotten to realize that relationships are everything. Every opportunity that I have had, I come through people who believed in me or people who just took a chance on me. The first job I got in North America, which was the one in Canada, is the only job I ever applied for. Every other job I had gotten before that and after that had been referrals. People I met at a conference who just, I love how she spoke. And then they need someone like me in their company. So I know someone, she's on LinkedIn. I would want her to come work here. Or, I just feel like she's the right person. I've been following her. Or, we've worked together before somewhere. Adi can do this project for you guys. Till now, I'm still eating the fruit of these relationships from different things I've done. I would just have someone I'd worked with 7 years ago call me and say, hey, there's this consulting for this company. You are the right person for it. Please just give them a chance. So I believe in the power of relationship. I believe God put us here for a purpose. He wants us to mingle. He wants us to interact. You can be talented, but connection gives your talent wings. Yeah.
Thank you. So that will make me to quote this. There's a book that was written by John C. Maxwell when he said, talent is never enough, which I think I agree and he said, if you have good talent, but you have a bad character, you are going nowhere. So talent is good because if you don't have a good relationship, you are going nowhere. So I know that as an individual, you can't be a lone ranger. So you need to understand that the importance and the power of people. I always say this to individuals when I said, be good and be nice to people, regardless. Just do your job and move on. Regardless of how they treated you, just be good and move on because eventually it pays off at the end of the day. It's not about you, it's about the impact you have made. You have done it, you have moved on. You are not expecting them to do the same, but you have good relationship with people and you have to nurture it. So that will make me to ask this. Then, how do you build and sustain genuine connection or relationship in a competitive world?
So I think oftentimes we may just go and say, "Oh, I need a mentor," and reach out to someone on social media and say, "Can you be my mentor?" And I see us do that a lot, especially with African immigrants. And for me, what has really helped me in building lasting, I would say, connections have been genuine service and sincerity.
Very
I'm
true.
not networking to just collect contacts.
Mm.
I do my best to network to create value.
Mm.
I would give you an example. Well, when I just recently moved here to the US, I was working for a Fortune 500 company, and we were in a bus traveling for some visit. The person that was sitting beside me happened to be one of the executive directors, and he was telling me about a non-for-profit that he helps. And immediately when he was talking about that, because I run a non-for-profit in Canada, I immediately felt like I need to connect to this person because I can create value. I can support
Mm-hmm.
that non-for-profit.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he was telling me the did STEM stuff, I said, in my head, I'm like, I already run one. Right. I can bring my ideas to support him on this. And after that trip, I reached out to him to say, I'm interested to hear more about that non for profit that you said you help. And so he found time out of his busy schedule to talk to me. If I'd reach out to him to be my mentor, I might not be able to talk to that guy in
Yes,
6 months.
that's
But
true. I
because I
agree.
reached out to say that what he told me about, I run a non-for-profit in Canada similar to that, and I would like to connect to hear more to see how I can create value, support. And it found time within 3 days. Took me for lunch. We talked, and he asked me to come and meet those people. I went to meet. I volunteered twice, and they nominated me to
Mm.
join their board. When
Yes.
people feel seen and supported, they remember you. Not
Mm.
only do they remember you, they find a way to support you. This person became my mentor. I didn't ask for it.
Period.
He became my sponsor. I didn't ask for it. He
Mm.
nominated me for one of the STEP Awards, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Production, one of the most prestigious manufacturing awards in America. And
Mm.
when he worked with my manager, I said, Hadi deserves this. And then they both said, oh, look at everything he's done. Yeah,
Mm.
you're her mentor, so you know, and I'm the manager. They nominated me, and both of them said she won't win. But we want to do it for her to know that we value her. I
Yeah.
won.
Can you imagine? So
Yes,
they felt like maybe maybe it's not the time for you to win, but
yes,
eventually you did
I
because
did.
recommendation. Yeah, I always say this that when you do what you're supposed to do, so I would say that when it comes to purpose, act of service is very critical. I know I've done a lot of volunteering job. I still do some, and I realized that that gives me fulfillment. It's like part of my purpose in life that when I do this, I was watching one of my session with one of my guests, Vivian, and she said, "What is that one thing that when people wake you up in the middle of the night that you will not even ask them questions, you will just deliver, not because they want to pay you, not because you can do it, but you are doing it because that is you, even when they wake you up in the middle of the night." And I always say that when recommendation is being done, most of the time we are not there.
Yeah,
You will not be in that room because that recommendation will have been done. You only see the result because it is the art and the hack that you put action that you put into the service that you have rendered without expecting anything that gives you edge over others. So I'm going to ask this. So how do you stay grounded when people's expectation of you grow larger than your own vision?
yeah. I love that everywhere I have been, uh, people believe in me, and including in my marriage, my husband believe in me,
Mm,
and sometimes those expectations, I would say most times, these expectations are the
mm,
fuel that continues to make me grow. Their faith makes me reflect.
Mm.
And then it makes me think that there has to be something they see that people
Yes.
that makes them
Mm.
feel like I'm the one that should deliver that. So, and I mean, I love it when people believe in me more than I think I'm capable of, because it makes me continue to know that the same God who lifted me up to this point is putting it on somebody's mind that I can do more, that I can
Mm.
be more, that I can impact more. And then I do my best to work, not because I'm trying to satisfy their expectation, but because I believe that if they can see it, maybe I can just also work towards that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And that takes me to my next question because I believe that I know I've listened to you share a lot of experience about how you move from point A to point B. But I'm going to ask this for the purpose of people listening or that will watch this again. What kind of community or support system helps you stay aligned with your purpose?
So I have a bit of good community. I have what I call an accountability group. These are women that are in my life that every month we hold one another accountable. These are the goals we set, and this is where we are. So when it comes to community, I thrive in places where there is vision, visionary community. I
Mm,
also thrive in places where you're allowed to be vulnerable.
mm,
So I surround myself with people who celebrate my wins, but also challenge my growth and hold me accountable for the things that I said I want to do. And sometimes, if I don't get them done, they are also kind enough to understand that, yeah, you can try again next month. So accountability, absolutely key. So pretty much, I would say visionary communities, a place where vulnerability is tolerated, and a place where
mm.
I can be held accountable. When I'm supposed to be celebrated, they celebrate me, but also challenge my growth where they need to.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Adi. And I'm on the last subtopic, which is pathways and growth. And I know you mentioned from the beginning that you were at the top of your career, you are a top leader, and then there's a vision for you to be able to say, let me have a consulting firm to be able to impact and support people.
Mhm.
So I'm going to ask this. It's a direct question. I know it is very tricky, but however, I'm going to ask: how do you know when it is time to pivot or reinvent your career path?
This is not spiritual.
When you said it, yeah, you said it from the beginning, right? So I wanted to make you explain to us because I know that there's what we call fear of unknown, where some people are at the crossroad. And I know sometimes you have seen that happen to you too, when you're having conversation with people. You just look at them and like, but you can do this. It's a thing you can do. But why? What is holding you back, right? Because now you can say that because you have done something. Even I believe that even if you have not done this, you will still be able to say that to people. So my
Mhm.
question is, when? How did you know? How did you discover that? Okay, I think it's time for you to be
So
able to
how long do
reinvent
you
that
want this
pathway.
answer? Do you want it short or long?
Long so that 5 minutes.
So
I don't care.
I think after this conversation, I'm going to actually record like a reel about this. Right.
Okay, thank you for
And
that.
I love this question because I have had to pivot multiple times. And it's the same playbook.
Hmm.
When peace leaves the room,
Hmm.
when that excitement turns into exhaustion, it's time to
Hmm.
reevaluate.
Hmm.
Because absolutely, I'll tell you that my purpose hasn't changed.
Hmm.
You have this full-time job, you love it. I'll give you an example. There was a job that I had. I used to go to work at 7 a.m.
Wow.
I would not be back until 11 p.m. I would go to
And
work
you,
on
and
Saturday.
go back the following day?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I would go to work on Saturday. What's that? Excitement. I was building something. I loved it. And then I worked in that place, and 18 months later, I don't even want to go to work anymore.
Wow.
I would go to push myself there at 8 o'clock, and I'm counting down to 5 o'clock. I'm out of here. And Saturday, nobody's going to see me until Monday. Yeah. And I was feeling slighted. I was feeling like they took my project and gave it to somebody else. And I'm still the owner of the project, but my voice is silenced. They want somebody else to be leading it on the outside because it looks good for paper. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I started feeling slighted, and that became exhaustion. And then they had to force me to get the truth out of me.
Wow.
Me that I am in the whole thing, running the whole place, and saying this must work. And all of a sudden, I'm now in that, hesitation zone. So I know that at that point, even if my purpose didn't change, the pathways had to change.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
it leaves the room, then it's time for you to start to think. Maybe it's time to pivot. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I want to
That's
ask
very
you,
deep.
if you're listening right now,
Hmm.
are you sitting somewhere? Maybe you're in a relationship, or you are working, or you live in a country. And that is me just using an employment. I've moved to 3 countries. Same thing. I moved to Finland. I was so excited. And then 3.5 years down the line, I'm no longer feeling like this is the place. Peace
Okay.
has left the room. So I'm like, it's time to move. I have to
Hmm.
go. I moved to Canada. I loved it. I became a citizen. And at some point, I felt like I'm not making enough money here. I came to the US, I attended conferences, I saw how much they were paying engineers with my degrees. These people were making times 3. And I'm here with the same degrees, and I'm making next to nothing. Peace has left the room. I'm
Hmm.
like, I need to move over there. I'm moving over there. So I'm saying this because it's not just about employment. It could even be relationship. It could be friendship. Everything we do, we need to always evaluate. Am I at peace here? Am I happy here? Am I excited here?
Hmm.
Has it gotten to a point of exhaustion? I'm exhausted. I don't like this place anymore. I'm dissatisfied.
Hmm.
Sometimes you're dissatisfied, but you still align with your purpose. But sometimes you're dissatisfied, and then you look at your long term goal, it just wouldn't work for it.
Mhm.
It's time to go. It's time to pivot.
Thank you, Dr. Adi. I know that's very, something like I said earlier, that when we share and respond to some questions, sometimes it makes us vulnerable. And I know that, and that is the authenticity in that individual. Like, I know you, when I asked about relationship, where you were able to, you sing a song in Yoruba, it shows authenticity. And that is one thing that I see, that you said you moved from Finland, from Nigeria to Finland, Finland to Canada, Canada to US. And I'll put a disclaimer on that. So let me also say that if you're listening to this, just because you worked for Dr. Adi does not mean it will work for you.
No.
So understand what works for you.
Yeah.
Understand how you are able to sit, how you are able to do your self evaluation from starting to know that it's self awareness. So, self awareness is critical. So, you'll be able to say, okay, I'm evaluating this. Do you think it's right time for me to move? And if you're also married, it is not a decision of one person, it's a decision of
Exactly.
family. So you need to understand that it works for Dr. Adi does not mean it's going to work for you. Rather, sit down, do your self evaluation, check, is it the right time for me to move or do I stay? But one thing I know that I have discovered over the years in my course of career is if I work in an environment, for instance, and it's not aligning with my purpose and it's going to affect my reputation, definitely I've moved because I've resigned from a 2 day job. I started on Monday, I left the job on Tuesday. Not because it's not a good job, but over time, I can see the end from the beginning so that it doesn't affect me and I don't do what is against my principle and my values. So I had to, because the organizational goal and purpose, action, reaction are not aligning with my purpose and my direction of as an individual. So I had to go. So thank you so much for sharing that. So I'm going to ask this. I know everything you have said sounds so good and straightforward. Is that you summarized 20 years in 5 minutes, in less than 5 minutes. However, I am very much aware there are a lot of risks that you have taken because Bob Proctor said not taking risk is a risk. So if you're not taking risk, something is going to also happen. So my question is, what risks have you taken that completely changed the trajectory of all this process that you have taken?
I will tell you that my life itself is a risk. I I think maybe being an engineer makes me know that there's something called calculated risk. So I just don't take risk.
Mm-hmm.
I take
Mm-hmm.
calculated risk, and every step of the way. I studied physics at a point where I had a chance to study computer science or physics. And then I chose physics, and everybody was wondering, what is that? Did you understand that they become teachers? Right. Well, it was my calculated risk. Um, and leaving Nigeria for Finland to study biomedical engineering. Same thing when I got to Canada. 90% of the people that ask me, what am I studying? And I say biomedical engineering, they will pause and say, what is that? You did not see mechanical or electrical or something that everybody knows. What is that one? What are you going to do with that one? And no one around me understood it. But I knew that this led me to a path of 3D printing, which was one of the boldest decisions of my life, because I happen to be one of the few experts in 3D printing. So I could get a job in the US. I'm always headhunted. I didn't know anyone in that field, right? When I finished my PhD, first Black person to get a PhD in biomedical engineering from this university. Why? Because nobody knew that field. That risk that I took to become the first projected me, became a hallmark, or gave me an opportunity to become a trailblazer. So for me, I have taken several risks, including moving to the US. Something in me believed that purpose often hides behind uncertainty. And this has always been me. So that there's purpose, like if it's very open and direct and just there, that's 1 + 1 is equal to, oftentimes that purpose is too easy. I don't know anyone who has succeeded on a bigger scale who knew that if I do this, this will happen. So oftentimes that purpose often hides behind that uncertainty. So we just have to try, right? And every of those risks didn't just change my trajectory, they revealed who I truly am, right? And every day, I choose courage over comfort. Because comfort is me working 9 to 5, an environment where they've given me over 20 awards, where I have publications, where people know me as a subject matter expert, where my name is everywhere. That is comfort. Courage is me saying I'm ready to rebuild something from scratch. Comfort is me saying that I will till tomorrow, my husband will tell you that I'm a Canadian and I will always be a Canadian. I love Canada. But courage is me saying that, you know what, I'm going to go to the other side. I know they will pay me more there, and not choose comfort. Building a new path where none exists I mean, and how do I know it's going to work? It's calculated. I'll hand it there.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I would say that um, has there been a time, just to do a follow-up question, because you said calculated risk. Even sometimes when we do a calculated risk, it doesn't work the way we plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you care to share one thing or something that you are able to calculate, have a calculated risk, but still didn't work the way you planned? How did you react to it?
So I will tell you that every of the risk I've taken, none of them has been straight shot.
That's
So
true.
I'll take this risk. I will start, and as I go, every 3 months, I'm doing a process improvement.
Mm.
Because the process improvement is what make you pivot again, move again, because you are doing it and you see that it's not working
Mm.
out. Then you quickly tweak it. So there is, I never had done it and then it's straight shot is working. No.
Mm.
When I do it, it reaches a wall, you pivot, you know.
Okay. I'm not sure I can hear you again, Dr. Adi. Maybe you have technical issue. Okay. However, while I'm trying to wait for her to be back on this, because I'm very sure that I can. Yeah, I think she's frozen. So I'll say this that when it comes to risk, okay, I think you were there was a glitch for about
Yeah, it
20
froze.
seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I don't know what you were saying. I don't know if you want to say it in 30 seconds back.
All right. So I was saying that I've never had it completely straight shot is working.
Mm-hmm.
Every step of the way, as I take this risk, I do continuous improvement. And that is why it doesn't get to a point of failure because
Mm.
I have caught multiple levels of areas that are supposed to fail and continue to improve them. Then it means that I will get to the end and it looks like it worked. But if I was, maybe my starting point was here, this is where I was going. But because
Mm-hmm.
of improvement, I have gone like this, like this, like this, like this. My hand is not
Come back
now
to it.
here, it's now
Mm-hmm.
here. But when
Mm.
people still see it, it's still success. But there were like 15 tweaks along
In
the way.
between.
So I will
Mm.
tell you for a fact that I have not done something and that in the end it didn't work. No,
Mm.
because I'm not just doing it and say this is the roadmap, I'm following it. No, that roadmap is getting improved every 1 month, every 2 months, every 3 months. So I'm not getting to the end and then it didn't work. No.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. That is very profound, and I think I picked something from there because, and for me also, the way people see failure is different. So the way we see success is also different. So I only even if that thing did not work as planned, I've only discovered how not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is the spirit because you can't say, "Oh, I'm not doing it again." So each time I look, sometimes I just look at Nike and I'm like, "Okay, just do it." It sounds so simple, but regardless of fear, just do it. Because if you don't do it, you will not know what is at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask, I think I have about 4 or 3 questions more for us to be able to close this conversation. And my question is for the benefit of people that might be watching this, that might be going through this. So, how do you navigate imposter syndrome when stepping into a new or a bigger space? Like when you move from, like you said, that space is a difficult thing to do. It's a difficult decision to make. Like you are at the top, I want to do this even when I understand you see the end from the beginning, which is you have an end in mind. But however, there is going to be a lot of risk that you are taking. So some people might be in this situation now that you have been able to overcome over the years. So when it comes to navigating imposter syndrome and when stepping into a new or a bigger space, what did you do? How do you navigate that?
Yeah. Imposter syndrome happens to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You could whether I remember when I started working in the US as a Canadian, the US people, they're a lot more in your face. Canadians are more laid back. And for the first 3 months, I was apologizing for everything, every and anything, because that was our own cultural stuff in Canada. You apologize. And then in the US, that is looked on as weakness, right? And I'm explaining that because once I found out that because I've been apologizing for the last 3 months, everybody thought that it was because I was unqualified. It further deepened my imposter syndrome, right? Or something that I always tell myself, whether I enter a room of CEOs that are making 200 million a year, and I'm probably one of the only Black persons here and maybe one of the only female, I always remind myself that I'm prepared. I'm not lucky. I did not get here accidentally. Every degree, every late night, every moment of faith was a seed sown for such a time as this. And if you're here as an immigrant, do you think you got lucky to be here? You didn't get lucky.
Hard work.
You worked hard to be here. You didn't just appear in that room. So I always have to remind myself that this is not about luck. Even when I now feel unqualified, let's say I'm in a place where I feel unqualified. Guess what? Grace qualifies me.
That's true.
So I'm telling you that there's two sides to it. The first side is you are actually prepared. You are not here accidentally. And then even if you enter that room, the hall's bigger than you. The grace of God that is upon you has qualified you. So that imposter syndrome, let it loosen its power. Shift the focus from proving yourself to accepting the fact that this is your moment. And if you're still feeling a little bit uncomfortable, serve others.
That's
serve
true.
others. Instead of walking into that room trying to impress, walk into that room to impact. And I'm saying this because, I've had to speak on stages where I'm afraid and saying, do I really know what I'm about to say properly? Yeah, but I kept reminding myself of the journey that brought me here. Sometimes I talk back at that imposter syndrome, letting it know that I'm here for a reason and that I do belong here. And sometimes it's that power of prophecy that gets you back to where you need to be. You tell yourself who you are. You tell yourself.
Again and again.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Adi. So I'll quickly ask this last question. And I'll say that for someone that is stuck or they're at a crossroad, they don't know what to do, because they are going through a lot because of the fact that they don't know how to navigate. So what would you say to someone that feels stuck in their career or in their business that pays well but lack meaning? So the reason why I'm asking this is because you have been there, not because you are stuck. You are not stuck, right? So, but for someone that is stuck in that career, because over time, if you don't leave at the right time, there's going to be a redundancy that makes you now feel you are stuck, because you'll be stuck because over time there's no peace anymore. The peace has left the room, like you said. So what advice will you give to that?
The first thing is to be able to understand, why am I stuck? Am I stuck here because of the paycheck? Am I stuck here because nobody else would hire me because I'm not qualified for another job? Am I stuck here because the market is bad and I'm afraid that I may look for a job for a long time? Am I stuck here because I'm not ready to try a new ground. A new ground may be get a job in another company, maybe become an entrepreneur, it may be move to another city, it may be all of that, right? Let us find out why you're stuck, right? If I'm like these 4 things I'm asking you to go and evaluate right now. Evaluate why you are stuck. Evaluate, if I want to get this same job in another company today, am I qualified? And I'm saying this because let's say you're product manager in this company, you've been working there for 5 years. I tell you that you only know how product management is done in that company. If we look at the market itself, your skills may not be up to par for product manager in your industry because you have been focusing on a company, not the industry at scale. So your skill level may be 40% lower than your counterpart in the industry, right? So you may be stuck as a result. So I want to ask, why are you stuck? So let's do a gap analysis. What I have right now, can I get it comfortably somewhere else? Or I will actually need to have 2 certifications and 15 skills before I can be on the level that I think I am, but for my industry. Let's find out. Number 2 is what I've done here, like everything I have said, I've given you that, right? But I wanted to explain that a little more in depth. I'm stuck here because I'm afraid to, if I want to go to another company, they already love me here at home. So I want you to do a self-evaluation. Sit yourself down, look at the 4 areas and be able to tell yourself which of this area is making me stuck. Now, build a plan to unstuck. What's your plan to unstuck? I want you to think deeply. How much risk do I want to take? Because unstocking is risk-taking.
Yes, please.
Most people who are stuck don't want to take any risk. They love their comfort zone. So I'm asking you and saying you're saying you want to unstuck. Are you ready to take some risk? Are you ready to leave your comfort zone? Now, because people, they confuse comfort with calling. I feel like because I love the company, I love it here. This is where I belong. Then it's to become a calling, right? So unstocking means I'm ready to be discomfort. I'm ready to take. You need to get to that mindset. It's a mindset thing. So what is my advice to you? Do the analysis. Secondly, we need to change that mindset. We need to change it to an uncomfortable, risk-taking mindset that is ready to fight. And then let's build your exit strategy with intention.
Sure.
So how do we build the exit strategy with intention? If you're still looking for that type of job in that industry, once you do this gap analysis, if there are some skills or certifications that are missing in your portfolio, you may not even want exactly the same job. You want a senior role. So let's think, what certifications do I need? What skills do I need? And what positioning do I need for me to not be able to get the senior role in my industry? Secondly is build your network. I have mentioned it here earlier that I only apply for one job in my entire life. Every other job, my entire life, has been based on someone recommending me. Who knows you in your industry? You know, there are webinars, conferences, e-conferences, all of these things happening. Which ones are you participating in? When you go to those places, do you open your mouth to say anything? Or you just attend, you just fold your hands? Nobody has heard you speak. Nobody has tasted your expertise or your presence. I tell you this, I moved to the US from Canada. My company sent me to a conference for trying to buy equipment. Getting to this conference, this company, they were showcasing their equipment. So I went to see their equipment. I want to buy equipment. On getting there, they talked about the equipment. There were over 200 people in that room looking at the showcase, and people started asking questions. I raised my hands. They gave me a microphone. The question I asked, everybody turned back. The person in front answered and said that what I'm requesting for is not in their machine. It's going to be in their upgrade. When I say again, they didn't give me the microphone. Then somebody raised up his hand. They gave that man the microphone. He ran towards it. Says, "It's not for me. It's for the smart lady. She probably had another smart question." I asked my second question. It was another bomb. It was very deep, and the person in front had to explain for 30 minutes. It just kept going and going and going and going, explaining that. So, because my own question now opened other questions. For 30 minutes, you have to do all this explanation. By the time they finished the showcase, I was working out. I have over 15 people lined up and said, "Who are you?" They want my card. They want to hear where I came from. Who am I? I said, I was giving everybody my card. I told them who I work for. And they were all saying, "This is why we don't know you're from Canada." Oh, yeah, you just moved here. Oh, yeah, there is no way we wouldn't know somebody this smart. That was my entry into America. Since that conference, every conference I went to, I would be speaking on a panel. That is the person who ran to give me microphone headhunted me for his company a year and a half later and paid me 75% increase in salary and made me a director. I'm saying this because you have to build your exit plan with networking. And I'm not talking about going to conferences and closing your mouth or attending webinars you don't ask any questions. There are LinkedIn groups for your field. You're there. You are never commenting. Nobody knows you. You are not going to get that job through that. You are not going to get that exit plan to take you to your next level. So build your network aggressively, intelligently. Number 3 is you have to save. When I left corporate and said I wanted to do this full time, my husband said, "Don't pay any bill for 1 year. If we haven't saved, how are we going to?" He was working full time. If I didn't have a supportive partner and we didn't have any savings, how am I supposed to try entrepreneurship for 1 year? It won't be possible. We have saved. How did we save? We used that our job as savings to fund the next chapter. Some people are on here. You have booked 3 vacations for next year. You need to cancel the 3 vacations because that money, you need to put it towards savings because now you have an exit plan you're working towards. And you
Dr. Adi, can you say that again? Can you say that again, please? Can you say that again? For someone to hear.
That I want you to use your job to fund your next chapter. That some people are on here, they're planning 3 trips next year. You're planning to buy a new car to show up to people that that don't care about you. You are living in a place right now, you pay $2,000. You're thinking, I must buy a house that you don't need. Now you're going to get a $4,000 mortgage with all the other stuff. You don't need it. If you're trying to make an exit plan, I need you to put that money towards savings because you will use this job to fund that next chapter. When you get to that next chapter, you can do whatever you want. But I'm saying that when it comes to, I'm stuck, there is a way to unstuck, but it has to be strategic. You don't have to quit immediately, but you must start by designing a pathway towards that life that feels like freedom, not survival.
Dr. Adi, thank you so much. I couldn't stop you because I think I have in mind to say, okay, give her like 5-8 minutes to speak to end this conversation. But I didn't want to say it because we're already talking and I don't want to stop you. So I'm going to drop this on Instagram and tag you. So thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Adi. And I believe that probably questions might be out of this in the comment section. I'm more than happy to respond. Thank you for your time. And I know that one way or the other, few people or more people have learned or they will learn from this. They rewatch this at the end of the day. Thank you for your time and do enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me. God bless you.
And you too. Thank you. Bye. I will end